Hello.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday evening, actually. My name's Louise and this is
Josie. Hi.
And we are both fundraising support officers for the ICS programme. So this session, do you want to go into a bit of detail about what this session is about?
So this session we will be playing a couple of videos, if we have time, definitely one. The first one will be about network mapping, so it's a really good place to start with your fundraising, figuring out what good links you have in the community. We can answer your questions as well, so there should be a little sidebar. Is that around for your Q&A? There we go. So we've got that at the side.
Yeah.
So please now, if you have any questions, write them in. We'll get to them after the video. If you write one, there'll be a little +1 by the side. And if anyone else really wants that question answered, just click the little +1, and that will make sure that we know that it's a priority question. So
so as we were saying, this is just a chance for you guys to ask any questions, to find out a bit more about fundraising, how to get started. So what we're going to do is start with a video. So if we play that now.
So 1 minute, we're just going to share the screen. So sorry for the technical issues if there are ones.
So whilst we're waiting to share the screen,
there we go.
So this first video is all about, I guess, like sussing out your networks of your fundraising. This is really important for getting started and starting a fundraising plan. I know we've both fundraised for ICS before as volunteers and a team leader ourselves, and it's really useful to kind of get started, have a think through all of your contacts, all of your networks, and just think about how those people can help you with your fundraising. So if we play the video now, and if you've got any questions, feel free to type them up.
Okie doke, here we go.
Hi and welcome to this ICS fundraising tips video. My name's Isaac and I'm going to take you through an activity today which I find really useful when I'm planning my fundraising. It's designed to get you thinking about all those different people who might be able to help you with your fundraising efforts. It's called network mapping and it's really simple. So you start with a big piece of paper and I'm going to write my own name in the middle of that piece of paper. Once I've done that, I'm going to think of somebody else that I know and pop their name somewhere else on the piece of paper. I'll connect those two names together and then I'll have a think about the ways that they might be able to help me with my fundraising. Would they come along to an event that I've organised? Would they help me to organise an event? Do they have any special skills or talents that they could donate? For example, they might be an artist or a performer. Maybe they work somewhere useful. So if they work in a supermarket, for example, they might help you to organise a charity backpack. So I've chosen my friend Anne, and Anne works in a pub. So I'm going to talk to Anne about whether it's possible for us to run a pub quiz at her pub. But I also think that Anne would probably support me by donating towards my sponsored activities. So I'm going to pop both of those things down as well. So you can carry on doing this with loads of different people. Do it with as many people as you can think of. Or you can start doing it with groups of people or organisations that you've been involved with in the past. So for example, I'm going to think about my old school. And also my family. I'm also going to have a think about my office, my workplace, whatever that workplace might be. I'm going to think a bit further back as well and think about any youth groups that I might have been part of when I was younger. Once you've spent about 15 or 20 minutes doing this, you should have filled up your page with loads of possible fundraising links for you to make use of. If you need any help with the network mapping itself or with coming up with new ideas, then do get in touch with your fundraising support officer. And we also have a great A to Z of fundraising ideas video for you to check out if you're a bit unsure about what kind of activities you could use with these networks. Good luck with all of your fundraising. Don't forget to get in touch if you need anything. And I'm going to crack on and finish off my networking map.
Now we need to.
Sorry, we're just having some technical difficulties. We'll be back with you in
Give
a
us
second.
some
All very new for the fundraising team. Are we back? Is that, in the meantime, while we get these, while we try to get back, if you guys could type up any questions that you've got, let us know. If you're not sure if you've got any networks, send us through a question. We're happy to answer. Let's just have so 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So whilst we're trying to get the screen back, so you can see our beautiful faces, we will just continue talking about fundraising and networking. As we were saying, if you've got a question, send it through. I know in the video that Isaac pointed out quite a few different networks, which is really useful. I mean, here we've got Josie, who fundraised quite recently. So, Josie, do you want to talk through maybe the networks that you use?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I actually, when I was starting my fundraising, I did actually do the network map myself. So even if you've had experience of fundraising before, you know, it's always worth giving it a go, because it might actually open up new opportunities for you that you didn't realize you had. You know, that happens all the time, that people actually find that there were opportunities that hadn't occurred to them to do their fundraising. So it's a really great idea. You know, think about where you work, think about the friends that you have, so the work that you're that friends and family go to, whether it's an office. Obviously offices are a really good place to hold cake sales, for example, and also you can do, oh, are we back?
Yeah,
I think we're back. Hello. So you can see us again now. Offices are really good to hold events, whether that's a cake sale. In fact, one of our lovely colleagues just did an Easter egg hunt, which was, again, really good. So you can use your work, even if you don't want to work in an office. Think about where else your friends and family work, maybe like pubs and restaurants are really, really good places.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a whole way of kind of meeting and spreading the word about your fundraising as well. If you work in a pub or a restaurant, which I did when I was fundraising for ICS, you're constantly meeting new people every day. I used to work in a coffee shop and used to have like a kind of collection jar set up on the bar. So again, whenever new people came in, they'd obviously be giving you lots of different donations. I worked in a pub, and obviously that was a great place to kind of organise different events for my fundraising. I was quite lucky that my mum worked in a school, so I did a bit of fundraising there. And what I'd also say ways, even if you don't know, if you don't work in school, if you don't know someone who does work in a school. Everyone did used to go to school, so if there's a local school in your area, it's a good idea to get in touch with them.
Definitely.
So I don't think we've had any questions through.
So do ask some questions if you've got any, because that is what we're here for. But do remember as well, if you don't have any questions now and then this finishes and you suddenly think, oh, I've got a question now, just get in touch with your fundraising support officer. We are all lovely, and we're all here to help. So you know, we want to support you in every way that we can.
Absolutely.
In terms of other network mapping stuff, I think, you know, it's always easy to sort of forget. It's not just about who you know, it's also who your friends and family know. So for example, a good one is like if you know someone who then knows someone who works at another relevant place, like, I don't know, like a leisure centre, like you might be able to do a challenge there maybe. It's not even that you might know people who will just automatically give to your fundraising. It's people who have useful either jobs or hobbies, or maybe they have links to community groups or whatever. So so definitely make the most of your networks. Do what Isaac did in that video and plan it all out on paper. Should we have the next video?
Yeah, let's go for it. So the next video is about planning your fundraising. So if you're kind of just being selected, you're just about to kind of get started, really eager to kind of get your plans together, it's a really good idea to kind of take some time before you get stuck in, and with just, I guess, like plotting out your fundraising. So obviously have a think for your networks, and then once you've established your networks and you're like, oh, I know someone who works in a pub, what idea could you do there? Could it be a pub quiz? Could it be a raffle? Could it just be, I don't know, an open mic night? So it's a good idea to kind of just quickly plan for your fundraising. And basically this video will give you a few different ideas and tips on how to get started.
And remember, write your questions.
Yeah, send me all the questions.
That is the section. So hopefully there won't be as many technical difficulties when I try to do this again. Sorry, everyone. 1 minute. Cool. Let's go.
So yeah, there we go. Okay,
we've done that one. Cool.
A recipe for success.
And an overextended metaphor.
Welcome guys to the second video in our guide to ICS fundraising. I'm Sarah and I'm Jess, and we're here to help you break down a recipe for fundraising success. We know that when you get your fundraising target, you might not know where to get started. That's why we suggest that you break it down into smaller chunks. For volunteers with an £800 target, we recommend planning 4 to 5 different fundraising activities, and our recipe goes as follows. You want to start with your main ingredients. This is your flagship idea. They need to be fun, creative, and have the wow factor. You're looking to raise between £200 and £300 with this event. Here are some suggestions. School fundraising. If you can get your old school to do a non-uniform day for you by offering to do an assembly or take a lesson when you get back from your placement, you're looking at a huge injection of cash. Quiz night. Great fun and a good way to get other people engaged with your fundraising. If you do other activities on the side, such as a raffle, you're looking at raising between £150 and £300 from each quiz night. Community funding. If you've got links to a community organisation, running a fund day can be a great way to get other people involved and can raise lots of cash. Next, you want to add one sponsored activity. What would be a challenge for you? Or maybe you can use Dare to Donate. It's best not to have a cost associated, so here are some suggestions. The £5 food challenge. Spend 5 days with only £1 a day for all of your food and drink. Not only does this raise loads of sponsorship, but it also raises awareness of people who live under £1 a day in developing countries. Keep your Facebook up to date, or even set up a blog. Give it up. Do a digital detox, ditch the booze, or give up chocolate. Do something that you find challenging and people are much more likely to donate. A sports challenge. Try a run, a swim, or a bike ride. Or try all 3. A physical challenge is a really popular and successful way of getting people to sponsor you. You'll want to add a dash and a pinch of smaller activities as well, such as bake sales. These are a popular fundraiser for a reason. Who does not love cake? Run at least 2 of these to raise at least £50 to £100. Car boot sales. Collect up unwanted stuff from friends and family and do a clear out of your room. You're not going to be there for 3 months anyway. Head down to your local car boot, £100 a pop. Swap shop with clothes, books, and DVDs. Get people to bring their stuff on a certain date and pay to take part in the swap. One person's junk is another person's treasure. It's worth adding a backup activity just in case things don't work out. Try to think of this as your takeaway menu on standby. And here are a few suggestions. but remember they're never guaranteed, so don't rely on them. Applying for grants. Have a look at what local trusts or foundations are available, or see if your local school or uni has a volunteering grant that you can apply for. Remember to get your application in early so that you've got a much better chance of being successful. Community groups. Local community groups might be interested in hearing about ICS and what you're going to do, and they may even give you a donation towards your fundraising. Get in touch with your local groups to find out. Backpacking at supermarkets. Slots are hard to come by, but if you can get in with 4 to 5 friends and pack people's bags for 3 hours, then you can expect approximately £50 per person. Remember, it's never guaranteed, but go in person well in advance and hopefully you'll be successful. Once you've decided what fundraising activities you're going to do, you need to set yourself 2 things. A target for each one and a deadline for each one. That way you know you're going to hit your minimum target by your final deadline. Thanks for listening, guys, and don't forget to stay in touch with your fundraising support officer.
Okay, so that was all about getting started with your fundraising and planning your ideas. So I hope everyone took away some great ideas from that one. My favourite would probably be the selling unwanted items.
That is a very good shout. I think my favourite, what's my favourite? I like a good challenge.
Yeah.
And in fact, the lovely Sarah in that video, she has just been doing fundraising, and she did a walk to work challenge, which is pretty horrific, but really impressive, because she, instead of getting the train as she normally would, she did, it was like, what was it? It was like 9 miles each way.
She walked 9 miles every morning. To give some context, we work, the VSO ICS office is out in Kingston upon Thames. Sarah lives in, not in Kingston upon Thames, so she walked 9 miles to work every morning, which took about 3 hours, which meant she got up very, very early. And the whole, I guess, like the whole idea behind doing the walk to work was to raise awareness of the fact that she did basically, Sarah did a bit of research into kind of global issues in India, and she found that on average the women and girls in India walk approximately about 10 miles every day to collect water. And that's just water that's needed for basic things like cooking, cleaning, drinking, farming as well. And she basically did that walk to work to raise awareness of that. And I think because it tied in well with why she wanted to do ICS in the first place, it tied in well with her ICS agency Prava, and almost what maybe some issues that she might be kind of working on placement. It was a really great way of raising money, and she actually did raise quite a bit of money. I think she got the majority of her fundraising through that challenge, which is fantastic.
Just as a reminder, apparently I pointed at the wrong side of the screen last time. Questions should be here. So if you would like to ask a question, there should be a little green button at the bottom. Just click on that, ask your little question, or big question, as the case may be, depends on the question, and we will answer them. We'll pop up on our screen, so we'll be able to see them. Please do ask anything you'd like related to fundraising, and if someone else asks a question that you really like, just click the +1 next to that question, and we will prioritize that one particularly. So any that have got more +1s added, we will definitely answer. Otherwise you'll just listen to us ramble about fundraising, and no one wants that. No, hopefully you do want that. What other ideas do you think work well?
What I was also going to say is maybe if we talk about the ICS blog and the ICS Fundraising Support Facebook group, because those are, as well as the Google Hangouts that we're all using at the moment, we've also developed other resources, including the ICS Fundraising Support Facebook group, which is great. It allows you to kind of see what other volunteers are doing. You can do a post if you need maybe help or tips with maybe organising an event or anything like that. We do have a question today.
We do indeed.
So if I just read this out, we haven't had, I'm really busy at the moment with exams. How do I fundraise at the same time?
So we get this a lot.
Especially at this time of the year.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, it's a legitimate question, because we understand that everyone has loads of stuff on. You know, it's not that you're normally just doing ICS. You might be working, you might be studying. Even if you're not doing those things, you're probably quite busy. So regardless of your circumstance, we do understand that you have other things going on. That said, you know, if you're making sure that you prioritize things equally, you make sure you take some time. You know, it doesn't actually have to be a huge amount of time, as long as you're not leaving it to the last minute. That, as you probably imagine, is a bit of a worry for us. If someone is saying, oh, I'm really committed to ICS, but I don't have the time to show it, we need to see that commitment. So please do remember that we're on your side and we want to help you, both in terms of the support for ideas, but also, you know, if you're struggling because of exams or indeed any other commitments, it's really important you let us know.
We're here to help. We've had it all before.
We definitely have. In terms of actual ideas that are good when you're busy with exams, have you got any ideas?
I guess more of a tip is, because obviously we've both been to uni, we realised that this is a really busy time of year, dissertation deadlines and things like that. What I would say is make time, even if it's just maybe 20 minutes a day, like something really small, just make sure you are slotting in some time for fundraising. We're not asking you to do, you know, a big event every single day. We're asking you to do small things which will add up to your overall target. So at the moment I'm telling my volunteers who've got a lot of exams and, you know, deadlines and things on, to maybe look into doing selling unwanted items. So maybe you could take a revision break and maybe post some items on eBay. Maybe you could use your revision break to I don't know, email some local community groups. If you're out and you're doing a food shop, maybe you could stop by the supermarket and quickly ask at the customer service desk if there's any chance of you doing a bucket collection there, or if you could get some raffle prizes. If you're going on a night out to maybe a local pub, again, ask at the bar if there's any chance for you to do any fundraising there. So it's all about having fundraising constantly on the mind. And that, you know, we're not asking you to be really stressed about it. We don't want you to be stressed. You've already got enough stress from university and deadlines. Just always have it constantly on the mind, and just make sure that, you know, if I guess it's using, you're an opportunist.
Definitely.
And, you know, if you meet someone out and they can help you with fundraising, definitely ask them. I mean, when we were fundraising, we did a Santa run last year, dressed as Santa and ran 5K. And when we fundraised for that, I know that when I was kind of out and about, I set up my Just Giving page with a text code. And if I met someone who seemed interested in my fundraising and they wanted to donate, and they were like, yeah, I'll do it later, it's like, well, no, you can do it now, and you just text donate. Easy.
And also something to think about it, I mean, and this is again the case for any fundraising idea, but with exams you might well think, oh, this is a bad thing, but actually think about the positives. So first of all, I'm sure that all of your friends who are also doing exams will be very happy if you offer to make them snacks, for example, to get them through their revision. So doing a bake sale at the uni, at your union. Or I was chatting to a volunteer student recently who was offering to do like odd jobs, like offering to do washing up for all their housemates for the next week.
Good idea.
Which is the sort of thing that no one wants to do. And in fact, actually, if you're revising, the last thing you want to do is do all your washing up as well. So if someone else is happy to just take, I mean, essentially probably 10 minutes or so to do that work for you. You would hope so. It depends on the amount of washing up. But essentially, like, there are some really great things, there are really great opportunities about being a student and fundraising. So it might be true that, the exams make it harder in some ways, but you've also got loads of other opportunities that perhaps people who aren't at uni don't have. So always try and look at on the positive side, because any bad thing can be turned into a good thing with the right attitude and the right fundraising support officer.
And as we always say, if you are getting to the point where you're like, oh, I've got my dissertation due in a week, I've got 2 exams coming up, and I've got my fundraising deadline. If you're ever feeling stressed about your fundraising, please get in touch. This is our job. This is what we're here for. We can definitely help. Me and Louise have been here for 2 years coming up to, so we know what we're talking about.
We really have heard it all before. I don't hear a single new question now. So, but that's not to sort of, undervalue any problems anyone's having, because we appreciate that. Especially if you haven't done fundraising before, it can seem really daunting. So, do let us know if you're finding that. We don't want anyone to suffer in silence. Any more questions, please do pop them up. I think, you know, we've talked quite a lot about exam fundraising.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're, because we get this a lot where volunteers, if you're not maybe doing exams, we also get a lot of volunteers who are kind of like, oh, I'm working a full-time job and finding it hard to fundraise whilst balancing work and other things. So again, it's the kind of, I guess, the same concept. Just make sure that you're doing a little bit every day, and just always have it on your brain basically, and just make sure that you're doing what you can. We're here to help you come up with a realistic fundraising plan. We're not just going to shoot ideas at you and leave you alone. We're here to kind of help you throughout your fundraising journey. So we can help you come up, maybe if you're working, I don't know, doing night shifts, if you work weekends, if you work evenings, and you're a bit worried, get in touch and we can talk through what ideas you would be able to do realistically. So that's really important.
Yeah, and also bear in mind that the more information you give us about what's going on in your life, the better and the easier it is for us to help you out. Because also, you know, if we mention an idea and say, oh, how about doing a quiz night, and for whatever reason that's something you don't feel you can do, if you let us know that, we can sort of tailor it to make it work the best for you. I was chatting to a volunteer earlier, and she said that doing a car boot sale or selling stuff on eBay wasn't really for her because she didn't actually have anything she thought was worth selling, and there wasn't really anything she wanted to give away, which is fair enough. You know, we're not expecting you to take on every single idea. We're expecting you to take on the ones that work for you and the ones that will bring in not only the most donations, but will also raise the most awareness too.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone knows different groups of people, like everyone that lives in a different situation. So what one idea might work for someone else, but it might not necessarily work for you, and that's completely fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. So again, if there's any other questions, please send them through. It's what we're here for.
Yeah. I mean, if there are no questions, I don't know if there's anyone who wants to ask that now, but is there anything else that we should add in the meantime?
I guess, I mean, we can go through the support that we offer as fundraising support officers.
Yes, that's a good idea.
And I guess we should do this. This is your final warning, almost. Get your questions in now, just because we're starting to ramble on again.
But also, do remember there is a webinar, I believe this time next week. So if you've only caught a little bit of this one, or if you have friends who want to watch it next week because you found this one so riveting, which you obviously did, do watch the one next week. Just find our page and you can find the link. But yeah, final warning for questions. But in the meantime, so what support do we offer as fundraising support officers, or FSOs for short?
So when you're first selected onto ICS, and you've kind of had a chat with maybe someone from the agency, or you've kind of making a start with your, you know, you've accepted your placement and you're kind of ready to get started with fundraising, you will receive an email from us, which will state your deadline and your target. We've now created a very handy fundraising guide, which includes all of the key information for you to get started, and it also includes a fundraising plan template, which is great. There's also a link on the email, the initial email that we send out, to a fundraising A to Z video, which is an A to Z of fundraising ideas, including Zumba and
other things. Check it out. Like, we've got a few videos now, so the couple that you've seen just in here, and then 2 more as well about bucket collections and something else. Something else really great. That could be a surprise. There are, what else do we do? So we will give you all a call individually and chat through ideas. We will send out weekly tips, which are very well received. We get some really good feedback on those, actually, because often they're very relevant, aren't they?
Yeah, so if there's maybe a holiday coming up, say for Easter, we are all kind of sending out Easter-themed fundraising tips. We've got Eurovision contest coming up,
which you should definitely fundraise for.
My top tip: do a Eurovision themed night and do a Eurovision through your revision sweepstake as well.
Definitely.
Such a great fundraiser. And yeah, even like summer fundraising tips, how to fundraise at school, just lots of information. Yeah, absolutely. So always have a look out on, I think most of the fundraising support officers send them out on a Friday, and so definitely keep an eye out for those. And they usually include some very funny puns as well.
Definitely funny, not funny.
Yeah. So yeah, keep a look out for those. Yeah. What I'd also say is going back to the initial email. On that, there will be instructions about setting up a Just Giving page. Just so you're all aware, we do ask every volunteer to set up a Just Giving page, and we found that this is the easiest way of getting your fundraising straight to your ICS agency that you're doing your placement with.
Cheapest admin costs, so don't worry about anything like that. It's the simplest, easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Please don't set up a crowdfunding page. Please don't do that, because you will have to shut it down. You'll need to set up just a plain Just Giving page. Crowdfunding does not work for ICS fundraising. This is really important. But Just Giving is brilliant, and it's really simple to use. As Louise mentioned earlier, you can set up a text code, which is really handy, but you can also send the link around, put it on Facebook. Definitely make the most of your Just Giving page, not just putting the link on Facebook, but also putting a bit of information about what you're doing for your fundraising. So what activities you've got going on, your placement itself. When you find out information about your placement, you can update people. So yeah, that's definitely worthwhile. And also, you know, do in terms of other things that we offer. So we'll give you a call at the start and keep you posted. We'd ask that you keep us posted. So if if you do have any concerns or worries later on in the day, you know, if you're feeling stuck at any point, we cannot emphasize this enough. Please get in touch with us.
We each work with a very high number of volunteers at the moment, especially because like yourselves, there's a lot of volunteers leaving on summer departures and like early autumn departures as well, which means that often, you know, we do just endless volunteers to call. So it's really important if you do have like a question, or if you, I don't know, an event doesn't work out, or maybe a sponsor challenge doesn't happen for whatever reason, let us know, and so we can help you. Don't wait for us to call you, because you'll be waiting.
Just a quick text, quick email.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It's all it takes.
If you can't, all we need.
If you can't for whatever reason talk to us on the phone, that's fine. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, but just make sure you're emailing or texting to keep us updated. Sometimes we even do Skype calls as well. So if you're overseas, let us know.
Yeah, essentially whatever your circumstances that's giving you trouble, we can support you. And on that note, we haven't had any more questions, which is a real shame. But that hopefully means that we've answered all of your questions, and you have no more. And it also means that you're going to reach your target in no time at all, which is wonderful. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if any questions come up after we have pressed stop on this broadcast, do get in touch with the FSO. We're all lovely. That is the final note to end on. We are all very nice.
All lovely. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and I hope to hear from some of you really soon. Bye.
Bye.